you reviewing some of those statistics from goal setting and New Year's resolution setting. There's I think a lot that hopefully you can take away from this workshop today that you can put into practice right away in your own professional work. And I'll be sharing with you a few essentialist habits for entrepreneurs and executives just like you. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. And this is a workshop, so you want to have you know, a notepad or journal or something handy here so that you can take down a few things, answer a few questions, and I'll put you to work a little bit in your own professional work. So this session today is for you if you have ever felt, and I know everyone here has felt this at some point, right? Stretched too thin, overworked, busy but not productive, or constantly in motion, especially coming off of the holidays, when there are more things coming at us, when there are more pressures, more decisions, you know, more things weighing on us, more things facing us, and the same 24 hours in a day and the same amount of physical and mental energy that we have. So if you've ever felt this way, raise your hand, because I know we all have. Right? And hopefully you'll get some really practical strategies that you can put into practice in your work. So your success matters to me. That's what my business is all about. So I would love for you to, thinking about that last slide and about perhaps your goals or the idea of essentialist habits, which I'll share a little bit more with you about. What is one question that you have? Or what is one thing that you would like to learn or know about today? If you'll pop that in the chat for me, that will be really helpful, as I'll try to answer those as best I can during our workshop session. And if I can't, I will follow up with you after the session by email with, you know, whatever that information is. So I want you to be able to get out of this what's important and relevant for you. Where is the chat? There we go. Does it open up? So Matt, I can't get the chat to open for me.
Okay.
Would you mind? Usually I can pull it open, but I'm more Zoom fluent. So would you mind reading whatever questions we have in the chat?
Yeah, so Junie kicked it off by saying staying focused and on task,
Okay.
on a task. There's a couple here that seem to be about being, Felicia just said, keeping organized. Diana, procrastination. Yvonne here, finding a balance between work and personal life.
Good. We're going to cover that.
Corey is mentioned creating consistent experience for her clients.
Okay.
And we got Manny with finding time to take some designated breaks while working from home. While you were looking for the chat box, I was trying to type in, my problem sometimes is learning to say no in a, of course, tactful manner.
Awesome.
And then Mary just said staying motivated. Lastly here, I got Karen mentioned having more than one DSM and not confusing your customers about your brand.
What is DSM, Karen?
Direct sales marketing.
Direct sales marketing.
There we go. Tom mentioned managing email.
Oh, yeah.
Good one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Dreaded email, that inbox.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay. As I said, I'll do my best to incorporate these into the presentation today, and anything that I don't get to, we'll try to get to at the end. A little time set aside for a Q&A, and whatever's not covered, again, as I said, I'd be happy to follow up with you after. So in this workshop today, you will learn how prioritization using the essentialist mindset can impact your productivity and your confidence, and then how this essentialist mindset and habits can help you as busy entrepreneurs and executives, because we all are. And the questions that you're asking are all completely relevant to this way of thinking and working. So I'm excited to share with you. A quick, little more introduction and background on me. Again, I'm Conni Medina with Clarity Consulting, and we are a performance coaching company. I am also known to clients and those in my network as the devoted big sister. I like to say I've been devoted to hopeful futures since 1979, when my little sister was born. So my work with clients is really about being a partner to them, about sharing practical wisdom, and again, just about that devotion to their success. There has been nothing more incredible than in 2020 than seeing the success of my clients, growing their businesses, growing their confidence, reducing their sense of overwhelm, and just feeling more competent and making things happen in their life and in their businesses. So again, as I said earlier, I work primarily with entrepreneurs, executives, and also their teams to build clarity, confidence, and growth through both private and group coaching programs. And yesterday was my little sister's birthday. So thinking of her. All right, so again, go back to the slide, thinking about if you have ever felt, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Stretched too thin, overworked, busy but not productive, or constantly in motion. I have a quote for you. And this is directly from the author of this fantastic book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. If you don't prioritize your life or your work, someone or something else will. And this is a great way for us to kick off this workshop together. Diana, I see you nodding and nodding and nodding. Yeah, exactly, right? And there's some ways that we can think and work differently that really kind of live out this way of thinking. This is an incredible book. If you have not read it, I'll kind of hold it up here. See the cover? It's white with this kind of scribbly thing on it. Really fantastic read, very practical, and one of my favorite professional books.
What's it called again? Can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, it's called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Yeah, and I'll type that in the chat when we get to another break. Thanks, Junie. All right, so what are some of the things that really make this idea of essentialism so timely? There are really three major trends that have just exploded in recent years. The first is decision fatigue. So Tom mentioned managing email. Okay, so think about the 20, 30, 40, 80 emails that come your way. One of those emails represents a decision, right? I think about a client of mine who wanted to implement a new CRM for his business. There are literally dozens of different CRMs for your business. And so the choices being so open and endless to us, and the choices coming our way on an almost nonstop basis. Think about the volume of texts and emails that you get and social media notifications. All of those become decision points for us. And so over time, the more of this decision onslaught that we face, then the less capable we become at making good decisions, at saying no when we should say no, because we're simply worn out from making decisions. I remember when I first started dating my husband, I was working, big executive. I had 55 people reporting to me, senior level executive. And I remember when we first started dating, he would ask me, well, where do you want to go for dinner? And I'd say, I don't really care. I just want you to decide. I make decisions all day long. I just don't have the energy to make a quality decision anymore. And I just want someone else to make that decision. And so reading this book, I was really reflecting on, I really felt like I was in a place of decision fatigue, because all I did all day long was make decisions, and I just couldn't even decide something as fun, what should have been a fun decision about deciding where to go on a date with, someone new in my life that I really loved. So that's one major trend that we're facing today. The second is social pressure. So we are faced now with not only these decisions that are coming at us, but we're also faced with an unending number of opinions coming our way, telling us what we should be doing. So as a business owner, you maybe feel pressure to make a landing page on your website, to get a professional designer to make your logo, to create a funnel system, to start a blog, to start a podcast, to write a book, to whatever those things are. There's so many social pressures that are coming at us in our lives, not to mention on the personal side as well. Maybe we feel pressure to get married or buy a house or have a kid or buy a responsible, respectful, grown-up kind of car. There are all those things that are coming our way that are again adding to this moreness of our day-to-day lives and in our work lives as well. And then the third is this idea and this constant pressure of that we can have it all. We can be a big business owner, and we can spend hours of quality time with our family at home. We can spend a leisurely hour every night making a quality, healthy dinner with our children. We can have a hobby that we invest so much time and energy in our personal lives. We can have these wonderful, happy, perfect family vacations to someplace fabulous every single year. And we have that sense of wanting to sort of have it all, whether it's personal or in professional lives, and that creates more pressure as well. And so between these three trends, we end up taking on more and more and more and more, and then not being able to do any of those things really well, and ultimately not feeling that we're investing our time and energy in the things that are really fulfilling and meaningful to us. So with this and this is all research that's put together in this book. So I'm curious to hear from everyone here on the session today. Which of these trends do you most want to overcome? Which one is the source of the greatest pressure or overwhelm in your own life, whether that's personal life, professional life, or the blend of the two? Is it decision fatigue? Pop this in the chat for us. Is it the social pressure? Or is it this idea of you should be able to have it all, and why don't you yet? I don't know why I cannot get the chat to come up, Matt.
I'll try to read them off again.
Just read them off real quick. I'm just curious to hear what the trend is.
So far, we have 3 in a row for have it all. And I was just writing, it's always been decision fatigue for me, but social pressure is quickly taking over.
Yeah.
Any others, guys? Yeah, decision fatigue from Felicia as well, and 2 more decision fatigues.
I'm definitely decision fatigue. No, I know that space well, having worked in project management. It is, we used to joke and say it should be called project or problem management, not project management, because it's just literally constant decisions coming at you, almost hourly, if not, more times in an hour, to something to solve. So thinking about these challenges, let's look to the future. Let's think about what's possible. That's something that I'm always working with my clients on. So what would you do tomorrow if you were able to focus? Junie was asking about focusing. If you're able to focus on what's really essential for you or your team or your business, whatever lens you're thinking about this through, what would you do tomorrow? Thursday, the 21st. What would you do tomorrow if you were able to focus on what's truly essential? Anyone want to just pop into the audio and share real quick?
I'll kick off by just saying, and I do this daily, but I have a short checklist of things I literally write down and box them off. I don't think that's really earth shattering, but it's, I don't leave until I see some check marks.
Okay.
Is
Anyone
that
else?
answering the question, or how'd you want?
Yeah. What would you do? So you're thinking about being ultra focused on the very few most important things you want to achieve, rather than a long laundry list of potential busy work, right?
Pretty spot on. I follow I used to, the Stephen Covey, the 7 habits, and he has the A, B, and C. I get those A's done no matter what. But that's just me. But.
Yeah. Another way to think about it is, what would you not do tomorrow if you were focusing on what's essential?
I see
So
some
Tom,
faces.
maybe you would not answer 80% of the emails in your inbox.
Yeah, I need to not look at my email till noon.
Yep.
Connie, I do kind of like what Matt just said, but I have a card that in our trainings that we've been doing, and I didn't start it till January, and it's been a training process that I've had for a long time, but didn't implement. And I think that's one of the things is we can't accomplish anything unless we write it down. So I have the win the day cards, and I do these 3x5 cards, and every day I start with something that I want to get done, and I have it prepared the next day. Is it perfect for me? No, but it's helping me focus on making sure that I get what's important for that day to get done, because social media and email box can just, it's a time killer.
Right.
Yeah.
One rabbit hole leads to the next, and all of a sudden it's 10:30 in the morning and you didn't get anything meaningful, right?
And I've been working on utilizing time too, is just making on this win the day. I just don't scroll. I just get in and I start, okay, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes. I set my timer and then I'm done. And talk about hard, but it's worked.
Right. Because you are then and your time on the things that are meaningful. But you probably have other things that you want to do at the end of the workday. Right?
Yeah.
You don't be dragging into the evening. So those are great strategies that you guys are sharing. Thank you, Matt and Diana, for sharing a couple of those kind of ways to maintain your focus on the things that are most important. So I'm going to share with you just a kind of a high-level overview of some essentialist habits that are, I think, so ideal for executives and entrepreneurs coming out of this book. So I'm going to give you 3 mindsets and habits to hopefully put into action tomorrow to help you work with greater focus and more simplicity and be doing the things that are really meaningful for you. So mindset habit number 1 is the ability to choose. So this is a great one for Manny, wanting that time to take breaks. And then Tom, I go back to your email again, because email is like the bane of everyone's existence, it seems like. So let me tell you a little bit more about this one. This is a great quote that is in this book. I love this one. It's a good discussion that I had with clients as well. It's the ability to choose cannot be taken away or even given away. It can only be forgotten. So we all actually have an ability to choose what we're doing. We are probably, it's sort of like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Is we're giving away choice or forgetting our choice on tiny little levels all throughout our day and our week. And then it feels like we don't have a choice, but I have to answer those emails, or I have to go to this regular meeting, or I have to do this report, or I have to help a team member solve a problem. So I had a great client that I worked with who was a senior executive, and her lesson around this was really seeing that she could choose to see herself as a leader and a manager in a different way, and she could choose not to step in and solve every question that came from her team members, and she could choose to see that. That letting them develop their own solutions, right, wrong, or otherwise, was a more productive way for them to build their own leadership skills, and that by making that choice, she was also choosing to prioritize her time for the things that she wanted to be doing as a senior executive to help her CEO and help their company grow. But there was it was a week's, long work for her to really recognize that she didn't have to, because that was her language, she didn't have to solve every project problem that came up. She didn't have to be the hero for her team. She didn't have to, be the only person who could fix everything. And so once she got to the other side of that and really saw that she had this choice, it was so freeing for her. And she was actually excited to see the response from her team, that they felt valued and empowered, that she was choosing to respond to the problems differently, and all being about her saving the day and fixing everything. She was really giving them the power to, and the trust to solve the question or the problem from the client or with a particular project. So our ability to choose is really important. And by adopting that mindset and then taking that into our habits and how we're working can really make a huge difference. So again, just quick reflection question. Where are you forgetting about your ability to choose? Is it, oh, I forgot that I could unsubscribe from those emails? Is it I forgot that it's okay? It is actually, I can choose to schedule break time in my workday. Or I can choose to forego unnecessary meetings in my company to allow people to work on projects or initiatives that are really going to move us forward, that are really going to be fulfilling for us. I can choose to make a meeting 10 minutes long instead of having it as a standard 30, because it's always been a standard 30-minute meeting, right? There are lots of choices that we have in our work that we might just be forgetting about. And so making different choices and choices that are really in alignment with where it is that we want to go can really make a big difference, especially as those decisions add up over time. That's the first one. The second mindset habit is, and this one is great, is the unimportance of practically everything around us. So I don't know if any of you have seen this fantastic quote from John Maxwell, but I love this quote so much. And for this is a great one that I think about a lot in my own work because I'm an overachiever, and so my tendency is to want to take on more and do more. And a lot of my clients face this similar, fear of missing out. I'm taking on everything. I can do it all. You cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything around us. So if you think about what's truly important to you today in your life, or what's truly important in your business, you're probably going to make a very intentional list. And if you compare that list to maybe how you invested your time, maybe last week, Monday through Friday, you could probably find a lot of things that you did last week that don't fit into that list, right? So the question for you is to think about this, this way of working. The Pareto principle is a great one. And a lot of people call it the 80-20 rule because it's a little bit easier to remember. So the 80-20 rule is 80% of the great value or the most productivity or the most meaning that we have or the best results in our business come from 20% of our activities. So the trick is to figure out, again, what's most essential and trying to eliminate and get rid of the rest of that. So I'll give you a great example. So Matt and I had a discussion last week, I think, and we were talking about where we get clients and how we build our business, right? We're talking about marketing, the pressures of marketing, and should I start a blog and all these sorts of things. And each of us recognize that most of our new business is coming from personal relationships, people we know, referrals, people who have some sense of a relationship with us. And so if you think about it that way, and then you look at, 27 different marketing activities that you're doing, if 90% of your business, for example, is coming from one or two key sources, wouldn't you invest more of your time and energy and effort in those 1 or 2 key sources and key activities and try to let go of the other 25 activities, right? And we see this, I see this a lot in the companies where I'm working with my clients, is there's a lot of like, you know, we're doing 19 company goals in 1 year. You can't do 19 company goals in 1 year. You know, try to get it down to 5. You know, that's just, it's too many. You're asking people to do too many things. In my former corporate life, we were trying to develop products at one point that met 4 different business channels. And it just convoluted the whole product because it didn't really suit any of those key customers, key business channels anymore, because we had diluted it so much because we were trying to sort of, you know, do 4 things at one time. We really should have just made a product that was really, really strong for one key market, right? Or could be adapted for a second. So thinking about this Pareto principle or this 80-20 rule, think about where could you apply this rule in your own work or business? Where could you get more of that 80% good stuff, that meaning that growth, by really focusing more on the 20% of your activities that are getting you those things and trying to let go of those other things that aren't really helping get you there, that are only contributing to decision fatigue, that are only contributing, Diana, to procrastination because you're so overwhelmed. I have 25 marketing activities to do, right? We start to feel overwhelmed, so we procrastinate. And then, Corey, you asked about a consistent experience for your clients. This would be a great rule to think about for that question. You know, what are the number, you know, top 1, 2, or 3 things that really gives your clients the best experience, and then go all out on those things, right? And let go of some of your efforts that are just watering things down or maybe distracting you and your staff from really giving your clients that world-class experience that you want. All right, last one, habit mindset number 3 is strategic, deliberate trade-offs. So Matt, this is for you, learning to say no, and Yvonne, this is for you as well, in balancing personal and professional. This is a great one. And some of you probably already heard this, but this, every time I hear it, I just think, gosh, this is really powerful. So this is the 4-burner analogy that Greg McKeown talks about in this book. So if you imagine a stove, and you have those, you know, 4 burners in there, and those 4 burners might be your work or your business. One might be family and friends. One might be your health, and one might be, you know, hobbies or something else that you might do outside. That might be volunteering in the community, something like that. Whatever your 4 categories might be. You can't keep all 4 of those burners going at high. It just doesn't work. So you can't be an international global speaker who also spends all day long having intimate, high quality experiences with young children, while also being an ultra marathon runner, right? While also being the queen of volunteering in your local community. We can't do all 4 of those at that extremely high level. And this is great for those of us who think about that have it all pressure. So we really want to think about, again, what are the most important things to us? Where are we really going to find our biggest value, our biggest meaning, or for our businesses, what's really going to help move our businesses forward, and try to focus in on the things that are the most meaningful, right? So, I go back to the year I was trained for a marathon. There really wasn't a lot of other things I could do outside of my work life and my time with my kids than do that. There just wasn't time for anything else because of the time that it took to really dedicate to training for that marathon. So I had to make some trade-offs intentionally, and I made it willingly because I was, this marathon was really important to me. But I had to pass on parties. I had to pass on, going out with friends, going out dancing, because it would have impacted my training, and would have probably also then taken more time away from my kids and from my career as well. So that 4-burner analogy can be really great for you guys as well. So before we go, I want to get to Q&A, but I did want to offer something for everyone on the call today. If this kind of thinking is helpful to you and you want to look for ways to be less or do less but be better, get better results in 2021. I am going to offer for everyone on the workshop today 50% off services if you book through this Friday. So please reach out to me and let me know if you're interested, and I'll make sure that I open up some time to hear more about what you're looking for. But I'd love to be a resource to anyone here and help you implement some of these practices into your own businesses. So before we go, any time for any more other questions at all? I'm going to stop the share really quick. Junie, so I can put the title of, I think it was you who wanted the title of the book in here. Oh, Corey put it in. Thanks, Corey.
I already downloaded it. Thank you.
Any other questions at all?
What was mindset number 3 and mindset number 2 again? I'm sorry, I didn't write it down fast enough.
Sure. So the second was the unimportance of almost everything. And the third one was strategic, intentional trade-offs. That core burner idea.
Strategic, intentional.
Yes.
What was the third one again? I'm sorry.
I think it's strategic, intentional trade-offs.
Thanks very much for this, Connie, and kudos to you for kind of almost customizing it to our group. So each person, you know, some of us have all 3, some 1, 2. So, you know, that's kind of a good job to you on being able to tie in each one. So you got me thinking about that one powerful story you shared a while back about the